Hey, Steph.
Hey, Hannah.
Welcome to another video episode of Bariatric Banter.
We haven't shied away yet. We're not
shied away yet. We're still doing this, so here we go. I love it. It's good to see you again. How was your week?
Busy. Busy. Yeah.
Just I know that feeling.
Work busy, life busy.
Yeah. I'm glad this is a long weekend. I took yesterday off, and then for anybody who's not a Canadian, we are off Monday for Family Day because they felt like February needed to have a holiday in it. What do they call it? A statutory holiday. So yeah, Monday is a holiday. So I said, I'm taking tomorrow. I took yesterday off, and I have a super long weekend. So
good call.
Yeah.
I'm not upset about having a holiday this month. I need it.
It's needed. Yeah, February is it's bitterly cold here. It's been like minus 23. It's just been, so I just need a super long weekend to just do laundry and do nothing.
Yeah.
It's what I'm hoping for.
January takes forever all the time.
Too long.
Then February is a short month, but it just feels like such a long time with nothing.
Very
and then
long.
March doesn't have a holiday. It has March break for the kids, but there's no holiday.
Yeah, but nothing for adults.
No, so it's nice to have that little mini
Patrick's Day.
Well, not a holiday. Should be. So it's nice to have that day off in February because it's a long haul until Easter for a holiday.
It's a long haul till Easter, which I literally thought Easter was the beginning of April. It's not.
It's late.
It's not.
Yeah.
So I just need a vacation. And I was supposed to be off to do a bunch of stuff that I'm not doing. And I'm trying not to be bitter about that and trying to get over it. But yes, I'm not running my race in Disney. I'm not doing a lot in February because of pneumonia. So I'm still actively recovering. Pneumonia sucks. It hit my body super hard. And my lungs are not recovered. So
better to give them time to heal properly than push them too much and damage them. Because then you'll for the
which
rest.
I don't listen well to that advice.
You don't want to hear and is not the things you want, but
I know
in the
things you need.
In the long run.
Yeah, the things you need are rarely the things you want. So I've been taking it a bit more slowly, a bit easier, and the weather just has not been cooperating. And I hate running on a treadmill. I'd rather be outside. So I'm fine with starting my running journey for this year in March. Totally fine with that because for those who run, treadmill training is just the worst. It's just not enjoyable. So but I'm glad for a long weekend. I'm glad to be here chatting with you again.
Me too.
Yeah. This week's episode 6 of the Bariatric Banter podcast, we are talking about what we eat in a day. Looking at 3 months versus 2 years post-op, talking about macros, good recipes, bad recipes, the whole, hey, it's high protein. High protein does not mean good. And then things that are called high protein that have like 10 grams of protein.
Lies. This is probably
liars.
Like one of the things we message each other about.
Oh, all the time.
The amount of messages or photo or like reels that we send each other. Number one, being like, "Did you try this? Did you see
all
this?
The time.
Did you see this?" Or the amount of ones that we send each other being like, "This is a lie. This is not true. Not high protein."
Yeah. I have a dog in my office, so my apologies. He's
losing it right now if you can't hear him.
Yeah,
Hi,
the one interrupting the podcast right now.
Mine. I'm thinking there's something being delivered outside because mine is losing his bananas.
Oh yeah, he gets really heated about people lying about protein, so he was just weighing in to be like, hate that stuff.
He's looking out for us.
Yeah, jerk. No, this is the one that's important because one of our earlier episodes, we did talk about how hard it is to see other people posting and comparing yourself to them. And we just don't think that there's like an authentic look at what people eat. But also, it's a question we get before people even have surgery. I don't know if I can give that up. What do you eat? Are you allowed to have this? And And it breaks my heart that some people don't have surgery because they don't want to give up food.
Yeah.
And I used to say,
motivating factor is, it's not
no.
It is.
And you've heard me say it. If the reason you're not having surgery is because of food,
you're not ready for surgery.
And I'm not being mean. That's not
a red flag.
It's if you're that concerned that, oh, well, I really like to eat and cook big meals but you probably need to have the surgery. Food in no way should be the deciding factor on if you have this surgery or not.
No, it's the whole saying of, my uncle said this at the cottage the one day a couple of years ago, and it just sat with me because I had never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
We were talking about food because we were having the conversation that we had on one of our podcasts about how when people come over, you always have to put all this food out. And we were sitting out at the cottage and somebody said something about, oh, I'm getting hungry. We should put some nibblies out or something. And they got on the topic of food. Anyway, and he said, he goes, yeah, I'm fine. And he goes, I'm one of those different people. I said, what? And he goes, I eat to live. I don't live to eat.
Oh.
He's like, I'll go all day without like either really eating, or he goes, I don't care what I eat. Just put something in front of me. I'll have a little bit and then like, I don't care.
Yep.
And I was like, interesting. So in my head at this point, I was like, there's people out there that live like that.
This is normal.
This is a thing.
I had somebody tell me kind of something similar once in his life. He was like, oh, I could just eat like an MRE bar, like the military ration bars. Yeah. He's like, if you just gave me a bar and said, this is like the calories and nutrients you need, it's fine. He's like, food does not give me joy, basically. And I remember thinking like, you're so full of shit. You're such an asshole. That's like real. We go out for sushi all the time, but like literally he's like, I could take it or leave it. Like I only eat to sustain myself. And it was true because we were both students at the time. And I vividly remember, because I would buy my groceries and he'd buy his groceries. At one point, he's like, well, I bought a loaf of bread and 12 eggs. And I was like, ew, you're just going to eat hard-boiled eggs and bread for a week. He's like, it's cheap. I don't give a shit. And I was like,
right.
But I get it. And I will admit, it's very hard for people to hear us say that now. And I'm sure there's people rolling their eyes like, these, come on. And I admit, when I was obese, it was like, that. Come on, nobody lives like that. That's how miserable a life. But the truth is, my life now doesn't revolve around food. Okay, in a sense, it revolves around like meal prepping.
But I don't base my day on, okay, I'm going to go here because that's where the good restaurant is. And
yes,
get the McDonald's. And if I go this way, there's no place to stop it.
Correct.
That doesn't exist anymore.
And it's not like, oh my God, I'm starving and I'm going to order this big meal and I'm going to have that. Like my life doesn't revolve around, or if I'm traveling or making plans with friends, our plans are now, what restaurant are we going to? Aren't now, where are we eating? Where are we going? Does anybody want to try go-karting? And has anybody tried the new VR place? And does anybody want to go to this antique store? Go here. Like now when I go home, it's not, well, what are we eating and where are we going? It's more, hey, are we thrifting? Can we go shopping? Do we want to check out that gift shop in this, Yeah.
Yeah. And even now when I'm hungry, because I don't know about you, but I find I'm like, and I don't know if this is because I'm not as far out or I don't know, but I find I'm either not hungry or I'm like starving. I'm 0 to 10.
Yes. Yeah. That's normal.
Like, days like we talked about, like when you're PMSing and your hormones are high, that about food 100%. But we're saying on a general basis. I eat my meal, and then I usually have about a 2-hour window where I'm fine.
Yep.
And then it's like, move over. I am starving and I need to eat right now.
Do you remember that joke about like, I don't remember where it was from, and I apologize if it's like an insensitive joke, but the one where it's like, oh, you're going to eat Chinese food and then be literally starving 2 hours later. Yeah. That's kind of how it feels. Right, it feels like, and I'll preface that, like, I don't know if it's not food noise because I know what that is, but this is more just, we have a very small stomach and food processes quickly. So yes, you can have days where you're like, my restriction's high. I'm not hungry. I'm not feeling it. Then you have days where it's like, I am ravenous, ravenous, but we don't starve ourselves with bariatric surgery. And I hope this episode busts them myths, because
there's so many people that are worried about that, or that
actually,
and they're like, are you ever going to eat?
Are you starving? Yeah. I'd argue we eat more than most people. I eat more now than I definitely did before surgery. Asterisk caveat. Yeah, I ate a lot when I was 315 pounds. Like I ate like a, fucking Mack truck. What I mean is, like, I'm eating 6 meals a day now. When I was obese, I'd go all morning without eating. I'd get up, sit at my desk, work, and it would be like 2 p.m. And then I would go get a full thing of crackers with tuna and cheese and a biscuit and like I would just eat, and then I would leave work and be starving, and I would eat from 5 until bedtime. But I would convince myself that like, well, I hadn't eaten all day. It's not that bad. But I'd order an appetizer and a meal and a dessert because, I'm hungry.
Right.
So I was eating a lot. But I'd argue now I eat
You're more frequent. I eat every 2 hours. And if I don't, like, that's when like hunger, eat now. But it's every 2 hours.
But that's what we were told, and we're supposed to do that. So for people listening, it's not because we're starving ourselves. We're eating every 2 hours. Like we're told every 2 to 3 hours, you should be having a meal.
Meal, snack,
meal, snack, meal, snack, meal, snack. Yep. And snacks are not like half a banana. It's fiber, protein, and I don't know what the third thing is, but something. But fiber, protein, something. So like grapes, cheese, crackers. It's some tuna, some crackers, some celery. Like it's
balanced. Yeah, like my snack yesterday afternoon was half a piece of chicken deli meat.
Oh,
half a cheese. I can't remember if I had a half a cheese string or a full one. A low-cal cheese string, chicken deli meat, and pickle, and a little bit of mustard to dip it.
Turkey roll up. Yo, that's good.
So little balanced, or like yogurt and berries.
Oh, yogurt, berries, and I'm throwing granola in there because I need some fiber, and I got protein granola. So.
Yeah, so balanced, but I definitely am much more mindful.
I am very mindful
now. I'm mindful of consistent eating because I would wake up, I wouldn't have breakfast. By lunchtime, I would be ravenous. Then I would have a lunch, and then I would have nothing all afternoon. And then I would get home from work, be starving again. And then it was like dinner, snack, bedtime, bed. And now when I am hungry or when I am having a snack, my first thought is not nachos.
Yeah.
My first thought is, okay, what do I have that's the highest in protein?
Well, and like my first thought now is like balance. Whereas before it was, I'm starving. I want carbs. I want, I want to eat 3 pizza pops. Like I want burgers. I want do I still crave burgers? Goddamn right. I still crave burgers. But it was like, I make better snack choices. I'm pretty consistent with my snacks because I'm also like a lazy prepper, but it's usually a charcuterie plate. And if you told Hannah before surgery that like, yo, you're going to be eating charcuterie plates like probably every day, I'd be like, get the fuck out. But like, I make it all the time. I have this high protein cheese. It's this old white crumbly cheddar. Oh, it's so good. So I have my cheese. I do 3 ounces of cheese. I put a little honey on it. Yeah, I still have some sugar. I put a little honey on it and black pepper because it's like, oh, there's something good about that. And then I usually pick like a fruit or something to go on the plate with it. Grapes are kind of, my jam. But recently I've been doing cherry tomatoes with a little salt and pepper. So good. And then I try to have some sort of carb. Before I was putting meat, so I have like turkey pepperettes, but I'm really lacking in my fiber lately. So I've been trying to go, okay. And as a runner, my dietitian was like, you need more carbs in your body. So I pick and choose really good low fat crackers, but I'll put 4 or whatever the serving size is of my crackers
for low calorie. Yeah.
Yep. And that's a snack. And sometimes I eat the whole plate. Sometimes I don't. But I'm making like the portion size that's right for me at this stage of my journey. But if I don't have that, yogurt. Oh, I make the sugar-free pistachio pudding. I mix it with a whole Fairlife shake. And I'll have that with some berries on top of it. I'm
totally making that when we get off here because I forgot I have the pistachio pudding.
It's so good.
Food, guys.
And like, I eat food that's like dessert food. Do I eat things that aren't high in protein? Yes. It happens all the time that I'm like, you know what I'm craving for a snack?
Did I have a sugar-free Jell-O pudding cup this week?
Yes.
Yep. Was it high in protein? I could have like 0.1.
Yeah.
Did I work it into my macros? You betcha I did.
Did I eat Nanaimo bars over the holidays?
Oh,
an unhealthy amount of Nanaimo bars. Now, I'll preface, I had pneumonia, and because of pneumonia being in the hospital, I rapidly lost about 15 pounds. It was not healthy. It was rapid. So we're talking like over the course of 8 days. It was dangerous it was because I was so sick and my body was shutting down so rapidly. I wasn't eating or drinking and I ended up in the hospital and my blood sugar was like bottoming out. My blood sodium was super low. So they were like, hey, you got to eat. And I was like, oh, I'm a bariatric patient. I'm about to be your worst nightmare. And they were like, well, damn. They'd bring these trays of like I'm not kidding. I was the only one in my, like, on my floor that got 2 sandwiches, soup, gel. Like, they were packing this tray
I
full,
remember you
right?
sending me pictures of, like, was it chips?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then chips. They were like, here, eat chips. But they were giving me these trays, and I was like, I cannot eat a peanut butter and jam sandwich, then a turkey sandwich, and get this soup down. And they were really concerned. And they were like, you aren't eating. And I was like, bariatric patient, severe pneumonia to the point that I'm on oxygen in the hospital. I was like, y'all, it's not happening. So they were like, you want to eat some cookies? And I was like, I'm not going to say no to a cookie. You want a donut? And I was like, yes, I do. So
yes,
I was, again, that's why, yes, do I eat these things when I had pneumonia? Sure. Do I eat them all the time? No. But if I want a cookie,
I'm going to do it.
I'll have a cookie. Like, I do it in moderation, but nothing is like off limits, this is a great time. Like, we should probably talk about kind of what are the macros we're adhering to, kind of like what, because you're 3 months post-op and I'm almost 2, and our lives are completely different. So maybe this is a great time to tell everybody, briefly overview kind of maybe what the rules are for us and what our life looks like at this stage.
Yeah. So for me, I'm, oh my gosh, what am I? 3.5 months? 3 months? 3.5 months?
Congratulations.
Getting there.
That's exciting.
Right? Exciting.
That's
it
exciting.
Is. Right? Time flies. It really does.
It does.
And it flies on one hand, but in the other hand, it feels like forever. Like, I feel like I had this surgery ages ago and this is old news. But then on the flip side, I was like, oh my gosh, like, it's only been 3 months.
Yeah.
So for me, currently, I'm just pulling it up. I want to make sure I get it right because I just increased it. So for me, the ones I pay the attention to the most are protein and carbs. And then I watch my sugars. I don't track my sugar, but I watch my sugar. And for me, I just don't keep a lot of things in the house for me that are high in sugar. So I kind of even eliminate that from being an option. I do stevia as my sugar replacement in a lot of things. So there's that. But like, we talked about like sugar-free Jell-O, that kind of stuff, sugar-free pudding, all of that. But my goals right now are 30 grams of carbs a day, 24 grams of fat. Again, I don't really track that. And my minimum is 70 grams of protein. So 30 carbs, 24 fat, 70 protein minimum. My calories, what that works out to calorie wise is 616. So I'm trying to get closer to 80 grams of protein, but it is a struggle in that particular calorie bracket. So that's kind of where I am. Like I said, sugar, I pay attention to it. We have, we'll say, guidelines around where we should be with sugar and fat. So I keep it in mind, but I don't track those. And then fiber is something that I pay attention to. And I do track it in the sense that I use MyFitnessPal.
Oh, me too.
Everything in there for the day. Yeah. And then I'll go to my nutrients and I'll look at where I'm sitting on everything. So I look at where I'm sitting on fiber and I will try to pick options that get me the highest that I can. But I'm also taking like a fiber drink right now to help increase that.
I was there.
That's one that I'm working on, but I've increased my calories once so far. So I was at 500 calories and 60 grams of protein. Now I'm at just over 600 calories and 70 grams of protein. So for me right now, I'm trying to figure out, when do I do that next bump
increase?
That's what I'm trying to play with right now is when does that happen?
And it's a scary thing. And we actually have a whole podcast episode it's coming up in the next 2-ish weeks where we'll talk about the fear of regain. Because Steph and she knew about it when I was at that stage, and she's at that stage where it's like, we are clinging desperately to not increase the calories because we're so scared that we're stalled.
I don't want to, I've been stalled for a week. So
which is super normal.
Super normal. Yep.
Super normal.
Happens. There's also like a lot of very common times that it happens. 3 months is a very
around this time. Yep.
So it's tough because I'm getting my hydration. So for me right now, I'm supposed to be getting about 1.5 liters of hydration a day. I'm hitting that. I'm usually a little bit over. I'm hitting my protein. I'm within my calorie deficit. Clearly, I'm in a calorie deficit.
You are.
Clearly, but I've been stalled for a week.
Exactly.
So it's hard. So I'm trying to increase that protein. And I know when I increased my calories and protein last time, I started losing again. I had whooshes. So part of me is sitting here going, okay, maybe I'm at that point. Maybe I need to do a little bit increase. The other part of me is like, hell no.
Don't increase.
You're not going above 616.
Don't do it.
No. Even now when I'm planning my day, like I was literally messaging Hannah saying, okay, I really want eggs for breakfast, but I was going to have a protein coffee because it's high in protein. And if I have an egg, I'm not going to hit my protein. And then if I do hit my protein, it puts me over my calories. And so I was like, no, I'm not going over my calories. And then you're like, Steph, you're still in a calorie deficit. Like
you're
even
in a
if you have
calorie
700
deficit.
calories,
Yeah.
you're still in like simmer.
I was like, hey, Steph, eat the egg.
You get so focused on seeing positive progress and not wanting to hinder that. But obviously I can't stay at 616 calories.
No.
Forever. Like that's not sustainable.
No. And I remember just saying, eat the egg. If you want to eat the egg, eat the egg.
I made the egg.
I get it because I was at this stage too. And again, people progress at different times too, right? So there is like the blanket, this is what you need to do. But some people are faster or slower. So there will be people going, oh my God, I'm at 3 months and I'm only at 400 calories. That's okay. And then there'll be people going, holy Jesus, I'm at 3 months and I'm at 1,000. Also okay. Yep. Like your bodies will progress the way you're supposed to. And the frustrating thing with our clinic is they won't give us macros or calories. They just give us protein goals to hit. And like you can hit your protein goal and be like way overeating in calories. It's not impossible to do that. They give us
like the end goal calories. So like they'll give us a meal plan and they'll say, okay, when you're like a year or so out.
Yeah, when you're a year out.
Full portion. Okay, that's great. But when I'm 3 months out, what's my portion?
Exactly.
And when do I increase that portion?
Yeah. Which, welcome to where I'm at now. So
right.
I was where Steph was. So we'll dive into all this in a sec. We'll just go over quickly. Like you heard what she's at 3 months post-op. I'm coming up on 2 years. March 13th of 2025 will be 2 years. I'm not going to lie. It's really scary and hard. I'm now reaching what I'm suspecting will be the hardest year of surgery. And I'm not trying to go into it with that mentality. I love what I've done and I'm excited. But to her point, I haven't really been given like, what do I do and what's normal? And calories are terrifying because I don't want to be obese. Now I have a great therapist that I work with and a great dietitian. And I share all these fears that I'm going to wake up one day and be 300 pounds again. And they both said, well, we'd have warning signs before that happened. I'm slowly losing weight, but it's nowhere near what it was when I was in surgery. Like I still have probably like 15 more pounds I want to lose before I'm comfortably where I want to be at. And like, I love where I'm at. I've lost over 150 pounds, if you complain, but I just have this goal weight in mind that I want to get to. I don't want to have to be in a massive deficit and have to be at the gym 6 days a week to get there. So where I'm at, my dietitian feels like it's very doable for us to get 15 more pounds down, hit maintenance and hold maintenance. But it's scary because I've had to figure a lot of this out on my own, but with the help of a very smart dietitian. So my current nutrition goals look like the following, and they'll probably change. But currently, my calorie goal for the day is 1365. When you are 1 year post-op, the range that they want you to be at is 12 to 1500. That's the range. There is no, exact 1252. It's 12 to 1500. They don't want you going over 1500. And now logically, that's a calorie deficit. Even if I was at the upper range of 1500, like that's for a female, that's a calorie deficit. Wow, that's a calorie deficit. But 12 to 1500 is where they want you. So there are people that are going to say, I didn't have surgery and I'm eating in that deficit. Good for you. Thumbs up. Like you probably don't need to be that low, but sure. But that's normal for bariatric surgery. And then my goals are as follows within that. 119 grams of protein, or 35% of my nutrition should come from protein. 119 grams of carbs, or 35% of my nutrition should come from carbs, and 46 grams of fat, or 30%. So I do the 35, 35, 30 rule. Again, you'll do what's best for you. I am a runner. I haven't been running for a bit because of pneumonia, but I'm a runner. So I need more carbs in my diet. Carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are not keeping you fat. You literally burn carbs as a source of fuel when it comes to running and cardio activity. There is nothing wrong with that. It's not empty carbs. I'm not eating white bread and crackers. It's sweet potatoes, it's quinoa, it's complex carbs that take longer to digest and break down. But those are my goals. They work absolutely well for me. I'm around 1365 calories a day. I keep my fat or my sugar to 10 grams or less per serving, which means 10 grams or less per meal and snack. Sugar is a big thing for me that I do not budge on. That is going to be one that I very, very, very much look at. Now, with the exception being I was in the hospital and told that I needed to get my sugar up because I was dangerously low. Yep, I'm going to listen to the doctors who tell me that I need to get my sugar up. But normally it's less than 10 grams. So it's less than 60 grams a day. And I usually don't come close to that. My fiber goal is 25 grams a day. I'm immensely struggling with that. I will be honest. It is a hard one for me to hit. I aim for low cholesterol and low sodium because before surgery, I had high blood pressure and high cholesterol. I don't anymore, thanks to diet changes. But that's what I do. I do not count my exercise towards this.
No,
this is a hot topic.
I don't touch my days.
Before surgery, I did.
I worked out for an hour. I can have more pizza.
Yep. And I would connect my fitness tracker to my fitness pal. And I'd go, oh, awesome. I can have 700 more fucking calories today because I worked out. Yeah. I no longer count my exercise towards my eating. This is my eating and it's what I do. Now, with that being said, have I had days where I've had more than 1356? Absolutely. There are days where I had 1450, 1475. I was hungry that day. I had an extra snack or I had a slightly bigger meal and it's fine. It is not going to derail me or throw me off my goals. I'm still in a calorie deficit. And that's like my dietitian has said, we're going to start heavily working now on my training schedule for my half marathon. And she said, what you eat the day you run is going to be very different than what you eat the day you don't run. And my protein goals will change because of that as well. There'll be days where my carbs are not nearly as high, but on days that I'm running, yes, I need to be burning fuel to run, and that fuel is carbs. And I'm okay with it because I've still been losing weight on this diet. So I'm sure there are people who are going to be like, oh my God, Hannah, I'm 5 years post bariatric surgery and I ate 1,000 calories. Good for you. I don't want that to be my life.
No, we didn't have the surgery to starve ourselves.
No, I did
And
that's not the point.
Who've seen me eat lately, like I can see them watch me, and they're literally like seeing how many bites I take and how much food is left, and they're like, "Is that all you're eating?" I'm like, I'm full. I'm full. Guys, I'm not hungry. Like I'm full. I'm satiated. I am even to the point where like I took that extra bite that I shouldn't have, and now I'm paying for it because it hurts and I don't feel good. I am not hungry, and I know, but I think it was on the weekend, last weekend. I had 2 people say to me, you're not going to eat like this forever, right? And I was like, no. I was like, I will eventually be at the 1,200, 1,500 calories eventually, but I have to work my way up there. And I just have to keep telling my family, like, I'm not hungry. I'm fine.
I'm fine.
I'm so
and like,
full.
Please just stop commenting on what I'm eating because it's stressing me out.
I know you're watching me. I know you're looking at me. I am fine. I didn't have the surgery to starve.
No.
And I know it looks from the outside, I know it looks like it. Like you look at me who's had a quarter cup of something as my serving. And because it's not normal.
No.
And I know if I was sitting somewhere and I watched somebody eat a quarter cup of food, I would literally be like, where's your next bite?
That's not enough.
That's not enough. But I can promise you,
it is.
She's full.
It still happens. I go home and I will say, you know what? My parents get a lot of love on this podcast as they should, but I'm going to give them big ups. So when I first had surgery, I could have punched my dad in his fucking teeth when every time I went to eat, is that all you're having, Hannah? That's all you're having? Hannah, do you want wine with dinner? Hannah, you got to have more. And I was like, I'm going to need you to stop. And I could hear my mom in the kitchen, Reg, you're going to shut up and stop saying that. And like trying to explain to him why, like, I know he was saying it just because he was kind. Now I love it. Now I go home and he's like, do you want to come lift your own plate? I do. Thank you. And he'll be like, how about this? Like this little tail section of the salmon, that can be for you. Okay. Do you want to lift it? Or I was like, it's fine, Dad, you can lift it. But like now they ask, and my mom is really good with, you can lift your own plate, because we came from a culture where mom plated your food. And I swear to God, you better eat what's on that plate. And it's like,
the table till your plate is empty.
And I remember my brother saying when he was home, like during COVID, he lived at home. And I remember him being like, Jesus, stop putting stuff on my plate. Like, I don't want to eat that. I don't want that. And he said it in a dickish way, but he made a comment about like, oh my God, look at your portion sizes. And I was like, hey dude, that's not the way. Like, you're shaming them and they're going to overeat for that. Anything. Now they've just naturally kind of started to look at their portion sizes. Okay, it's probably because of me, but I'm not pushing this on them.
You force them to think about it and take them.
And they do.
No.
And my mom has said, like, we're kind of looking at our portion sizes now. And I was like, portion sizes were a large issue for me, a large issue.
And that's why it's such a shock for people to see you eat. Yeah. And like you said, they're asking it because
out of love,
worry, and they care because they don't want you to be hungry. And I know that's why people are
exactly.
You don't want to think that I'm sitting here starving myself.
Yep.
But it's a hard concept for people to understand.
It is.
That
I can only hold like 3 ounces in my, not 3, maybe a bit more than 3 ounces.
Finish a 1 egg omelet.
A cup. What's a cup? 8 ounces? So I can hold a cup, like 0.88 of a cup, like a full cup. It's not great. It doesn't feel great. It's not painful, but it's more like, okay, I know I don't need to keep eating. That's been really interesting going into 2 years of like, when you're first out, she hurts, you get sweaty, you get burpy, but as you get further out, it's more just a feeling now. And that feeling is strong. Hey, you're full.
You're done.
But you could be like, I'm a fucking eat a little more. No. And it's like, don't. But I can hold just shy of a cup of food. And that's going to be normal for the whole rest of my life. We'll do a whole episode on, can you actually expand your stomach after surgery? Huge eye roll, folks. Come on. But I can hold just shy of a cup of food. So it's going to be hard for me to overeat. So just leave it alone. But also, like, don't judge me if I eat a little bit of dinner and then literally 2 hours later, I get up and go make myself a snack. It's not that I didn't like your food or I didn't eat enough at dinner, literally hungry again. I don't go to bed hungry. I don't go to bed starving. My stomach isn't rumbling. When I was obese, absolutely. There were days where I was like, I wanted to cry because I was like, I'm so fucking hungry, but I've already had 1,500 calories and I shouldn't have a single thing more.
Myself to bed.
This is why I'm fat.
Eating.
Yeah.
My stomach goes around. I'm like, hey, I'm going to bed because otherwise
I'm starving.
Yeah.
So and then I would binge or fall off the wagon. And the thing I need to convey to people is, if you're overweight, your calorie deficit should not be 1,500. I don't know who told you that or why you think. I'm a bariatric patient and 1,500 is our upper limit. That, like, just let that sink in. A bariatric patient. You are not a bariatric patient. You don't have a restriction to help. Like, your calorie deficit's probably like 1,800, maybe 19. Like, please don't let people convince you that it is where you need to be low.
No.
Yeah.
This is not where you need to be.
Most of you only need to be in like a 300 to 400 calorie deficit. And when you're obese, like when I was 315 pounds, I guarantee you that probably was like 2,800 calories would have been a deficit. So, whoa. But the one thing that really, and we won't go too much into this because we'll save it for another episode because we'll talk about recipes next. But the one thing that bugs me and that you have to be aware of in the bariatric community is this effing notion that you should be eating 1,000 calories or less. There are so many influencers out there that it's basically an undiagnosed eating disorder. Fight me on that if you want, but I stand firm in that there is no award for eating less than someone else. There is no award for being like, I eat 1,000 calories. There's no award for eating 1 meal a day. Your success isn't going to be better than my success because you're eating less. If anything, I'm noticing you're stalled or I'm noticing you're not really where you want to be. But I'm really tired because I had a huge conversation with my therapist about this week. And I've talked to Steph, who's like had to literally talk me off the ledge of bawling my eyes out, where I've said, I feel like I'm overeating. I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm going to be fat again. I feel like the worst bariatric patient. I just feel horrible because I said, they're barely eating and I'm eating 6 meals a day. And I've started to super overanalyze my portions and I feel like I'm a huge failure. And the truth is they're not following the rules, which is 1,200 to 1,500 calories, 6 meals a day.
They're not setting themselves up for success.
Yeah. And bariatric surgery does not tell you that you have to eat 1,000 calories, only drink, and never eat again. It doesn't say you have to be carb free. It doesn't say you have to get rid of foods you like. It doesn't say you have to be sugar free. And I'm tired of the influencers that are making me feel bad. Not that they're doing it on purpose, but I'm tired of this notion that it's somehow so acceptable that they're barely eating. You're doing it because you're scared you're going to gain weight. You're doing it from a really unhealthy place. We're not supposed to be drinking our calories and protein. It's okay to have those things in your meal, but you're supposed to be doing whole foods. That's what you were told. And just get off social telling people that you're eating 1,000 calories a day and that's super normal. Most of you are on Ozempic and you're not telling people you're on Ozempic. And it's fine if you need to be on Ozempic to hit your goals and be where you want to be. But I feel like I'm failing and I'm eating 1,300 calories a day. And I genuinely feel like I'm failing.
The fact that people are being put into that mindset is not okay. And like, I don't get a gold star today because I only eat 3/4 of my egg omelet. And then tomorrow when I eat the whole thing, I'm going to sit there and be like, oh shit, yesterday I didn't eat the whole thing. Now I'm going to ruin it because now I ate more today. You have to, number one, listen to your body. Your body will tell you when it needs something. Don't ignore your body. Like I said, we didn't have this to starve. We're not here to deprive ourselves to starve. Are we focusing on certain foods over others?
Yes.
But like you said, there's no, and this gets into, again, another topic of good food and bad food.
Which we promise we'll cover.
Are we watching our sugar? Yeah. Are we still having sugar though? Yeah.
Yeah.
We are. I use a lot of stevia instead of sugar, but the yogurt that I had last night, there's sugar in it.
I have maple syrup. I have honey. My dietitian said, if you're going to have it, I'd rather you just have it.
Right. So yes, we are being mindful. Yes, we are picking whole foods over processed foods.
Yes.
But you know what? Are we having chicken nuggets? Yeah.
Yep.
Are people having burgers? Yep. I don't want to talk about burgers.
I have a great recipe for sliders.
So bad. Like so bad. I can't wait. But yeah, it's just making different choices. And you know what? Is there going to be a day that I'm going to have some pizza? Probably. Right? Like I'm sorry. I'm not going to say no to things that I like forever. Am I going to make soup? Yes. Am I going to make healthier options? Yes. Is it going to be a special thing that only happens sometimes?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
But it's not about starvation. It's not about deprivation.
No.
And it's about what works best for your body.
Yes.
Listening to what you need.
Ding, ding, ding.
Eat when you're freaking hungry.
Just eat when you're hungry. Bariatric patients.
Eat.
Being hungry is okay. Like being a little like,
to be hungry.
I could maybe eat something like, I could maybe have, that's normal. But if you're sitting there going, I'm so hungry, and like that is not what bariatric surgery is supposed to be. And it is normal that you'll think about food. Like it's normal to be like, it's, it's 1:20 in the afternoon. Yeah. Oh, what am I going to have for lunch? Like that's okay. That's normal. There are a lot of bariatric patients who will rush to the doctor's office and go, I am thinking about food. I need Ozempic. It's normal to think about food still. Like you're a human. You are going to think about what am I going to make for lunch? Or Steph and I think about now, okay, have I had enough protein? Ooh, do I need to have a snack right now? Because I haven't had, like, for me, I'm going, it's 1:20 and I only have breakfast at 8:30.
I was thinking with them like,
that's not great. Like, so yeah, am I thinking about food right now? Yes. Because the one thing you need to know is because of the size of your stomach, you can't just make up not eating. So they stress this to me, and so does my dietitian. A normal person could probably look at their watch and go, it's 3 p.m. and I still need 100 grams of protein. I'm going to make it up the rest of today. I do not have the capacity to make it up. So when I miss a meal, it's not like I can double up on my next meal. I don't have the space in my stomach.
Your whole day off.
So once you miss your goal, you kind of miss your goal. Now, that doesn't mean give up and get derailed. But what they're trying to say is it is normal for you to go, I need to have my 3 snacks and my 3 meals. And it's okay to go, ooh, what's my lunch going to be? Like you can still be excited about what am I going to have next? I don't like this really toxic notion about food noise where because you're thinking about food, it must mean you need to be on Ozempic or something. And again, be on it if you want to be on it. I don't care. But just be cautious that surgery doesn't take away wanting food or thinking about food. You shouldn't be thinking about food 24/7 because then, you're getting back into like your binge eating and bad habits. But you will think about food. Speaking of like meals and stuff, I go out to restaurants with friends. We have a dinner club and once a month we go out. I make better choices, different choices. So I'm not ordering mains because I'm never going to finish that. And there's just no point. We usually try to go to tapas restaurants, and they're really great at finding like sharing plate restaurants or restaurants with good appetizers. I don't go to I go to the pub every now and then for trivia, but I usually don't eat much from the pub. But I don't go to like pubby places where it's going to be fried food. We went to a really great sharing plate, and I had some branzino, I had some poached shrimp, we had a little terrine of like venison. It was awesome. They had a poached pear dessert. So we had that. And again, these are sharing plates. So it was me and other people. So I was able to have a few bites of the burrata or the branzino, and then I could have a shrimp. I actually had two. And then I was able to have a slice of the poached pear.
Live your life.
Because it's sharing plates. So I didn't have to feel awkward about, oh, I can't eat this whole meal. But I still go out, and I usually just order from the appetizer menu and try to make decent choices. But I have a recipe for sliders. I make quesadillas. There's currently quesadillas in my freezer. It's my favorite lunch now. It's got refried beans and chicken and burrito sauce, and it's in like a carb tortilla. These quesadillas are less than 100 calories and pack 20 grams of protein in them. And they're fucking fire. They're so good. I still have burgers. I just make sliders, and I still have a bun. I'm not going to eat a patty wrapped in lettuce. Like, I want a bun. I'm having a bun. The bun is 100 calories. Ooh, like I'm having the bun. I'm having the bun. Okay. Because it's good. And I want this little slider. I can only eat a slider, but it doesn't matter. It's the best slider I've had. I've had chicken wings. I've had chicken nuggies. I eat when I go home to my parents' house, whatever they're making. I just modify. If it's salmon and noodles, I'll have salmon and broccoli. Like, I eat. I have treats.
Your life is not on hold because you had surgery.
Not at all. I just don't revolve around food. Like, my life, I still meal prep and I love it. I make roasted sweet potatoes. Like, I'm in my sweet potato era right now. It's delicious. But you can still eat whatever you want to eat. Now, I will preface, you need to track. People don't want to track. They're going to tell you they don't track. That's dangerous. You can eat what you want to eat, but track. It's not because you should feel guilty, but it's because it can quickly spiral because you could just eat chicken wings. 9 chicken wings, like 1,000 calories. So, and you're going to pack those chicken wings away and still be hungry. So just track it, and it will all find a balance. And then be okay with some days going over. It's fine. The big thing you need to know is, if you ate a donut every day, if you ate a donut once every 3 months, it's not going to derail your weight loss goals at all. But that's how we think. We think because one day out of the week was 1450 instead of 13.
Done.
Oh, I'm going to be fat. It's not how life works. No. Everything in moderation and balance. But just watch some of the influencers because they make me feel bad about myself, and they don't do it on purpose. But I don't believe that's how little they eat. I don't believe, and there's a reason they're not showing you if they finished their plate or not. I believe it's very dangerous. I will promote an influencer called Eating VSG on Instagram. She's Canadian. Her account has been a lifesaver. She posts all her meals for the day. And then she posts the macros, the calories, and like if it was a recovery day or a running day, There are days where she eats 1,400 plus calories or 1,500. Like, she's lost an extreme amount of weight and is a half marathoner. And I love looking at it because I'm like, oh my God, she had a croissant or she had a sugar cookie or she's eating like, and her stuff isn't like snacks. It's food. She's having pasta. She's having stews. She's having real food. So we're going to start sharing more of that on our Instagram going forward, guys. Gals and guys. Because we just think, collectively, it's important. It's not really showcasing what it's like. I fear regain. I fear gaining weight. I fear my portion size. I'm so full of fear at 2 years, and I want to start sharing what I eat because I am not gaining weight. I haven't gained weight in 2 years, knock on wood. I'm still slowly losing weight. I'm, exercising where I should be, and I'm going to start showing you guys what I eat because I don't see it represented in 90% of the people I see on social. And I think that that's dangerous.
Agreed. There's a really good girl on TikTok. She's also from Ontario. I just looked her up to make sure I get it right, but her name is Bariatric Kayla.
Okay.
Kayla. I have followed her since I started deciding if I was going to be having the surgery. And one of the things that I really liked about her is she shows what she eats in a day. She shows how much she's making. She tells you how much it is, how many grams, how many ounces, whatever. And then she always shows you the after, which I find very helpful. And if she
love that.
So she did a video the other day. I don't know if it was over one day or a weekend or whatever, but she said, she goes out sometimes, but this just happened to be one of the times where she went out twice. And so she posted her videos, and the one was chicken wings. And so she was showing how many chicken wings she ordered, how she decided what to order, first of all, which is helpful.
Yes.
She showed the chicken wings. She showed how, she eats her chicken wings. She waits a minute.
Yep.
She eats the chicken wings. She waits a minute. And she showed, I think she only ate 3 of them, took the rest home.
Yep.
Another one, she went to Subway, and she said, same thing. I'm having my bread. Like, I like bread.
Oh, yeah.
Having my bread.
I'm having carbs.
So she explained that. She gets a 6-inch, and then she gets cut in half again.
Oh.
So she said, number one, it's good because she usually doesn't even finish a 6-inch. And it's also kind of that mental thing of it looks like a bigger sub.
Oh, that's genius.
Yeah. So she said, you kind of still feel like you're having a real sub.
Oh, I like that.
But she showed like what she put on it. And then she said, she'll probably only eat half of the
half.
Which then she did. She showed exactly how much was like. She's just very transparent.
Yep.
And as somebody, when you're early on in the stage, you want to see that because, again, we talked about comparing yourself to other people, but to have some sort of guideline or guidepost to follow and say, okay, this what I think maybe
normal.
Not normal. This gives me an idea of where I need to be.
Yep. And don't be afraid to eat out. And again, don't think you have to give up everything. You don't. You really don't. Now you have to eat in moderation and be smart because regain is a huge thing. We'll talk about it in a podcast. Statistically, it's going to happen to 30% of you that have this surgery, regardless if you have bypass or sleeve, but it's almost 100% because of lifestyle, not because the surgery fails. So you gotta make those choices. You gotta eat. You gotta listen to when you're full. That's a big one we'll cover in that episode too. Like, you got to stop pushing through and just eating because it's in front of you. So the rule in bariatric surgery too is there's no grazing. Do not order something and then take 2 hours to eat it. You have 30 minutes, eat what you've eaten, and then you're done. Don't mindlessly eat on the couch. Don't eat while you're playing video games. This is such a big one for me. I have to stop eating while mindlessly doing things, but don't graze. And then just be wary of who you follow on social. This will kind of sound hypocritical, but follow people that like fit what you believe, like this looks normal, but do not follow people that give you an excuse to break the rules and do bad things. There is someone who we will not name on social that is literally not following the rules. Like, I'm talking about ordering takeout several times a day, just did a big post about Taco Bell.
I think her first diet pop was like a week after surgery.
Yeah.
Like just multiple a day, like
multiple a day.
Oh,
eating fast food and takeout, like eating fried mozzarella sticks, like complaining that they ordered from Taco Bell and only ate half of it, and what a waste of money that was. Like,
and spent 2 hours eating the quesadilla and like forcing herself to finish it,
forcing herself to eat this
red
takeout quesadilla, and then wonders why, like, oh, I'm not really losing the weight, and I'm kind of in a stall. Yeah, it's just, again, there are people like that who are going to break the rules. And what breaks my heart is seeing all the people comment going, I finally found someone real. And, oh, girl, I can't wait to go do this too. And I can't wait to order Taco Bell. And like, thank you for showing the real side of surgery. So while we do advocate, go find people with a more realistic view of surgery. Don't find people that justify bad eating habits and call it real. So the 2 people we listed will share their, like, we don't know them, we're not affiliated with them, but we'll show their Instagram because we just felt for us it showed a very healthy, like, not unrealistic view, and they shared all the details. That's what we're saying when we say find real, not influencers that don't share the macros, that say they're eating 1,000 calories or less, like, unless they're less than a year post-op, that's dangerous. But don't follow people that are eating fast food and telling you it's super normal. Sure, it is. Yes, you can eat fast food. You can after surgery. There's been times I got a Happy Meal because I was on a road trip and just needed something. So I got a little kid's hamburger because it was 300 calories. And I was like, well, it's better than
not eating.
I guess other things. But this person eats it several times a week. And like, you're just back in your old bad eating habits. Like, I kick my ass when I am back in my old eating habits and I go, okay, it's time It's time to wake up. So
somebody who wasn't ready mentally for the commitment and the lifestyle change.
No,
lifestyle change.
they were not.
That is this program and is this surgery. It is more. And a friend of mine had bypass yesterday, and I said to her this morning, and I said, the hard physical part's over. You had your surgery. You're going home this morning. Now it's the mental. And I said to her in particular, I know she's going to crush it. I know she'll crush it. But I said, now it's the mental. And that is the biggest part of this. And if you are somebody who's going into this journey, you have to be mentally prepared for the changes that need to happen.
You have to be willing. So you got to get rid of your takeout obsession. You got to delete those apps off your phone. Hard truth. You got to get rid of fast food from your life because it's a slippery slope. Yeah. And there were times that I did it because I was like, well, the calories don't seem that bad. The servings are small. They're full of fat. They don't satiate you. You have to make your own stuff and become reliant on your stuff. Eating out is great, but pick high quality restaurants. Don't be like, yo, you know where we're going? Eastside Mario's. Probably not. Probably not a great choice. Why don't you go to a local restaurant that has fresh food and maybe try something different? Like, you all probably don't want to hear what I'm saying, but it's the hard truth that
if you want to be successful,
you got to change your diet. You got to change your lifestyle. It's not about dieting. It's about literally smaller portion sizes, controlling what goes into that, making your own food, and not falling back into bad patterns of high sugar, high fat, easy takeout. That's what's going to put you back where you are, because it's a slippery slope. Like, you're going to have good years and bad years. So you have to prepare yourself to navigate the good and bad times so that you don't just go, because you can absolutely, regardless of the surgery you had, gain all your weight back. And it happens much quicker than people think. It's within the first 5 years. And it happens to 30% of patients. And that's a Canadian statistic. So God help me, I don't know what the American one is. But this is why they stress, probably don't drink again. It's empty calories. You can't be drinking all your protein. You can't be having a ton of sugar, and you can't be having a ton of high fat. You gotta make better choices, because if not, you do exactly what happens. Oh, I'm in front of the TV and I'm just gonna snack. Oh, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I'm just gonna have pretzels and dip. Like, it's fine. It's okay. It is. But if you don't watch that and then make sure that the rest of the days are okay, then it becomes, well, it's okay. Well, it's okay. Well, it's okay. And then it's like, oh, yeah. And once you go too far over it, you get back into where you were before surgery, where it becomes really hard to restrict and eat in a calorie deficit, because now your body is raring to go. And it's like, no, I want 2,000 calories again. And it's like, no, we got to get back to 1,500. Good luck once you've got your body into a mode where that's now going to feel like a really hard challenge. So if you can stay between 12 and 15 and let it vary in that range, you can get yourself back on track. But if you start going way past it, getting your body back to 1,500, it's not going to want to go back to that. And you will feel like starving.
Your brain, the chemicals in the food, the hormones, the cravings, it's all going to come back in. And so your body's going to want it. Your brain is going to sit there. The food noise is going to be super loud.
Super loud.
Cravings are going to be just sitting in your mind. And that's why, like, we talk about this person having Diet Coke 2 weeks post-surgery. We're not saying you can't have Diet Coke.
No, but...
Right. But it's so important to set the habits in place from day one and get that strong foundation in place so that it just becomes the norm.
It becomes the norm.
Building those building blocks, you're building the foundation. It becomes your lifestyle change. It becomes habit. You don't have to think about it. It's just more moving forward.
Exactly.
And then you can start, okay, you want your Diet Coke? Have your Diet Coke.
Yeah. Because you know you're not going to drink 7 of them or 3 in a day. Right. You know, like, oh, okay. And again, it's not that Diet Coke has sugar and calories in it. It's that it's filling your stomach and not giving enough room for protein. And again, it's like, when is Diet Coke going to stop being enough and regular Coke needs to come in? And if you're going to slip on that... And when you used to have the Diet
Coke, you probably had it with the burger, or you had it with the nachos, or you had it with
the Doritos.
Right? So it goes hand in hand, and like I said, it goes down that slippery slope. So that's why that beginning part is so important, to listen to the rules, listen to your body, focus on the good things, and set that foundation in place.
Everything in moderation, because the thing is, like, could you lose weight on Diet Coke? Yeah, you could, but you're not getting the protein and other things in that you need, right? So you're going to become weak, and then you're tired, and then you don't want to work out, and then you're getting a headache, and you're wondering, like, why is it not working? Well, because there's a reason they say you need to get X amount of fiber and X amount of protein and X amount of carbs. And like, you have to balance it. Like, again, we're going to get into this in a whole other episode where we're going to talk about regain and what you need to follow and all of that jazz. But we are going to start sharing on Instagram as we wrap up here what we're eating. We're going to share it from our personal channels and just reshare it onto the podcast one. So follow us on Instagram. We are at Bariatric Banter Podcast. Subscribe to us on whatever platform you listen to us. If you liked this, please review us. Like, goes such a long way in helping us find other people to listen to this podcast. Let us know what you want to see us cover. But in the next couple of episodes, we are going to cover a lot of what we went over. In the next few, we're going to talk about comorbidities, something we mentioned last week that we didn't have time to get into, but we're going to go over high blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and answer, the question of, does surgery erase these things? We're going to also talk about dating and relationships. So what's it like being single and dating after being obese? How is it having surgery, being in an existing relationship and navigating all of that? And then later on, we're going to talk about regain and fears. We're going to talk about exercise routines and a lot more. So thank you so much for all 200 of you that listen to us. Please subscribe. Please review us. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Follow our Instagram. We're going to start sharing recipes when we go out to eat, what we eat in a day, macros. We're going to share all of this with you guys in the next coming weeks and over the next couple of years. But just a huge thank you to every one of you that listen. And of course to you, Steph, for joining me again for another wonderful week.
No, love it. We're going to start getting into some of the personal ins and outs of our daily life on Instagram too. So you can see what it's like in the life of Hannah and Steph. But like Hannah said, thank you so much. Hope you guys are loving the video format. Let us know, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Steph.
Bye.